Now let's have the part 2 of the introduction to Erickson's 8 stages of psychoanalytical theory of development. So, throughout those 8 stages, nagyo always ang contradictory or contrary dispositions. So, ang kanang contrary disposition kay mo nang opposing forces nga mo nang i-assess during that stage of development. Example na lang sa number 1, trust and mistrust. So, ang ato ang i-assess dira kay kung unsay mas mulabaw sa imuha during that stage, ang trust ba or ang mistrust. We also have this term syntonic, which is the first listed positive disposition in each crisis. So, pareho ganiha, trust and mistrust. Di ba nauna ang positive? Ang tawag ng positive nga kanang disposition is syntonic. Another term is the dysyntonic, or what we call the negative disposition on each crisis. So katong ikaduhang gisulat dito kay mo to siya ang dysyntonic, which is the mistrust. Bao na ka trust and then mistrust. So katong mistrust mo to dito ang ginatawag nato nga dysyntonic disposition. Now let's have versus. So the use of versus is to signify two opposing dispositions. Kanang for example katong trust and mistrust to kanang ang tawag niya sa in the stage of development is trust versus mistrust, which means they are contradictory. So one lang gyud ang mudaog or manaig sa ilahang duha. So it is also stated here that if you have managed well the crisis, you will bring one virtue or carry those virtue through your lives. So for example, katong sa trust and mistrust, you'll carry the trust throughout your life, or kanang unsay mong natunan nato nga stage, you'll carry out that throughout your life. And if na may crisis in the next stage, kay magamit gyapon to nimo siya. And makaingon lang ta nga kanang you are successfully done that stage or na-manage na nimo that stage if you have balance those dispositions, the negative disposition and the positive disposition. Next, we have here or maladaptation and malignancies. So, unsang din ni sila? Let's discover. Malignancy involves too little of the positive and too much of the negative aspect of the task or that development stage. Dapat manggod nga, di ba, as I have said earlier, dapat balance ang duha. And if nilabaw man ang isa, especially kung nilabaw ang katong negative disposition, kay ginatawag nato na siya og malignancy. Next is maladaptation. Maladaptation involves too much of the positive and too little of the negative. So, mali gyud di ay nga nay mas mulabaw maskin pag ang positive ang mulabaw kay dapat pang gyud kanang bago ta mo maabot sa another stage dapat na balance na gyud ng duha. Yes, and if kung mas labaw man ang positive, that is called maladaptation. It is also stated here that the crisis stages are not sharply defined steps. Elements tend to overlap and mingle from one stage to the next and to the preceding stages. It is a broad framework and concept, not a mathematical formula which replicates precisely across people and situations. So, it means nga those stages are interconnected with each other. So stage 1 is connected to the stage 8 and on and so forth, and they could actually overlap with each other. But matawag lang nimo nga kanang you are successfully through with that stages kapag natunan na nimo how to kanang balance those dispositions. So even if you are not still through with the first stage, pero naka-encounter na pud kag another crisis, murag na ano na pud mo nga na apil na pud mo ang second stage or whatever stage man to nga imong na-encounter nga na crisis ngayong ana. And you will going to assess each crisis well para matawag na nimo to nga kanang successful na ka nga stage. Added here that Erikson was keen to point that the transition between stages is overlapping. Crisis stages connect with each other like interlaced fingers, not like a series of neatly stacked boxes. So these stages of development though is not really kanang murag naka-ladder na sunod-sunod. As I have said earlier nga pwede ka nga naka sa stage 1 and then naka-encounter kag another crisis nga nasa stage 4 and then pwede naman siya i-assess both in one time. So, changes don't happen in repentant clear-cut stage. Changes are graduated, mixed together, and organic. Di ba, dili mo jud mo mahibalaan niya. You are done with that stage na jud di ay kay wala mo punta kabalo nga. There are stages jud di ay. Unya, ma-realize na lang na nimo nga ay kanang I am done with this, kanang kabalo na ko ana because of the crisis nga imong na-encounter on your life or in your life. So changes do not happen overnight. It nga kanang karon nakaingon ka nga ay na-encounter na nako ni human ako ani kagabi karon inganin nako. No, it is not. It is practiced or kanang nanana sa imong behavior nga dili man gani nimo mapansin nga nanana siya sa imuha inside you. We have terms here which are mutuality and generativity. So what is mutuality? Mutuality is the effect of generation on each others. So mutuality often happens inside the family. For example, kini nahitabo sa imuhang parents and it will be passed on to you, or ang lesson nga naato kay ma-share sa imo, ma-instill sa imo, and also with you nga sa imuhang experience can be shared in your family, matun-an pod sa imuhang parents. Now that is mutuality. So generativity is katong lesson that was experienced or was learned by your grandparents and are shared throughout generations to generations. And that concludes to the introduction of the 8 stages of psychoanalytical theory of development by Erik Erikson.